Last time on the Incorrigible Party. Rumpke makes contact with Benito Algator and attempts to lay the groundwork for a future friendship, while the rest of the party is pestered by a petty thief looking to join an established crew, giving him the brush off once they gain the little information about the prison that he has for them.
I'm not going to go back and talk to Benito because I think I've already done that. I don't want to do that for a while. So I sort of walk back over to the table with those guys and go, "Hey, you're in my seat!"
Rumpke, take this one.
Sorry, there's no room on the crew here, buddy. I'm sorry.
Hey, Jimmy? Is that your name there, Jimmy? I think I heard you bellowing it over on the other side. You need to take your little ass off of that seat that doesn't sit straight and move it over to another table, or I'm going to plant your ass on the floor.
Whoa. Hey, I'm sorry, Rumpke. Look, I thought we were all okay here.
My name's Delta. I don't know.
I don't know. That's the name you threw out.
I don't know what the hell.
Jimmy, you keep hearing things. Stop it, or I'm gonna send you to that Dr. Quackaboo, or what's his freaking name?
Alright, look. This guy doesn't want me here. I don't know who the hell he is. If you have an open spot on the crew, you know who to find. You know Jimmy No Shoes. Sign on up.
When we need you, we'll find you, alright?
Put my hand on his shoulder and I lean in and I go, "These people are crazy, Jimmy. I'm trying to help you. Get the hell out of here."
I give him my prison face again.
I'm going, okay?
Yeah, Johnny, I think we changed our mind.
Come on, get!
Story of my life, and Jimmy will stomp off.
I lean over to Seishadal and I'm like, Kylie, I guess. You said Rumpke.
Whoops.
Be careful.
Delta, darling, did you get any information?
Well, a little.
Now we just wasted all our time.
No, I think this Benito guy, I think he's just the old fella. Sort of a godfather type of guy, and see here, everybody just respects him because he's been here a long time, but I don't think he really does much.
The old guy in the group, maybe Axel could, bond with him better than you could.
Oh yeah, probably. I just sort of went over and said hi. I think maybe one of you guys go over, introduce yourself, and tell him you want to talk to him, private-like. And
No, I'm not doing that. It doesn't go well for me no, that's dangerous. I don't like it.
We can go. And Seishadal stand up before anybody can say anything, and walks over to Benito.
I look over at Hellcrack and Opal. Well, get ready. This could go really bad, really fast.
Seishadal walks over to the table, does not stop when... What's his face? What's his name?
Zev.
When Zev gets up, she will look at him and give him an eye. And, hold up her hands. I mean, no harm kind of thing. And continue walking to the table.
And Benito, again, you see Benito kind of puts a hand on Zev's. Well, hello there.
Are there chairs on the other side of the table?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
She'll sit down on the chair and lean forward, hands up, clasped in front of her. I'm told you're the guy to come say hello to.
And disembodied voice, though, right? That's
Yes.
Seishadal's shtick, right?
Yes.
You see, Benito, cocks his head a little bit. Well, very interesting. And who are you?
I am Seishadal.
A very good pleasure. I am Benito Algator.
What's your deal here?
Have you never heard of the great and retired Benito Algator?
No, let's just assume I'm not from here.
Well, I once held a position of power within the city of Storm Cape, but no longer.
Do you wish to have that power back?
Well, I have been here for a very long time. I almost forget the taste.
And what if I told you I could help you?
Oh. That must mean you wield some significant power of your own.
Not mine. Well, in this instance.
Then whose?
Do you know Zalmo?
Oh, you're serious?
Things have changed since you've been in here.
Well, yes, 20 years is a very long time, but tell me, does he still wear those cute little paisley vests?
I will tell you that 20 years is a drop in the bucket of time.
Well, yes, I mean, look at who you're speaking to. I am of the elven race. I certainly know lengths of time.
You know nothing of time. You know nothing of being trapped.
Well, I certainly know a bit about being trapped. But you say you have only Zalmo's power to wield, but you speak as one that has much more.
There are things that can be done. Things that I know of that could help you, if you so wish.
Would it be so bold of me to assume that this vessel isn't quite who I'm speaking to now?
It is not.
I see. Out of curiosity, may I speak to the person in front of me?
Sure, what do you want to know?
Oh, well, hello, dear.
Hi,
What is your name?
Lila.
Well, hello, Lila. I assume you are privy to every bit of conversation I've already had with Seishodal?
Yeah, we know.
And you also know Zalmo, then?
Oh yeah, we know him pretty well.
And what do you think of him?
He's a fair man. He raised us and treated us well.
Really, I never pegged him as the fatherly type.
Oh.
That seems more likely. He was a terrible prowler, I will tell you that. He had no subtlety. He was all pomp, no circumstance, if you understand.
He teaches us things. Other things we pick up on our own.
So you're a quick study.
We like to think so.
That is good. That will take you quite far, but perhaps not as far as Seishodal may be able to take you.
Seishodal has taught us all kinds of things. Really cool things.
So you vouch for Seishodal then?
Oh yeah,
And Seishodal vouches for Zam.
we both do.
I see. Well, pleasure to meet you, Lila. Seishodal, perhaps we can continue our conversation.
As you wish.
What is it you believe you can offer me?
Let's just say we can get a key to your happiness.
I see. Very interesting. What, if anything, do you wish in return?
That you listen to Zalmo when you get out.
Ah, well, I don't know how aware you are of our storied history.
Not at all.
Of course, in your position, it matters not what it is.
Not really. We were sent to do a job. We're going to try to do the job as best we can.
Of course. And what is the punishment for failure?
Trying again.
Ah, so if I were to brush you off now, you would leave and come back at some later time.
To pester you till you see the light.
Ah, of course. Well, I cannot say I'm not interested. But of course, and he puts a hand on Zev's. I do not leave without Zev.
Of course. Eyeing Zev, does he look like he'll fit in the tunnel?
he's
like Zach
very
thought.
large. It would obviously be a very, very tight squeeze.
We may have to get some lubricant for him.
Well, I assure you I do not know what that means, but if you say so. Can you elaborate more, perhaps?
Just that the way out might be a tight fit.
Well, I can say in my 20 years of being inside Storm's End, an opportunity like the one you present has not come along. As well known as I seem to be around here, I am a trophy of sorts to the Trinity.
So they would notice you're missing.
Oh, undoubtedly, yes. But no matter, I'm sure the great and wise Zalmo has a plan once we are out.
Zalmo has many plans that he does not share with us.
Oh, I certainly have been on the brunt of his plans coming to fruition.
Is that how you ended up here?
I have no doubts that is how I ended up here.
So you would not be overly happy to see Zalmo again.
When a man is offered something like you are offering, orchestrated by another, there is a certain level of gratitude one should pay, yes?
That's good enough for us. One more question. Do you know certain city guard that may be here in the prison somewhere?
Well, I'm afraid nobody like that is in Subblock B.
We did suspect he was in solitary. That does complicate things.
You do not wish to go there.
We promised we would help get him out as well.
A risk to you is now a risk to me. I must advise against that.
This is what I'm going to tell you. See that little one over there, pink hair?
Yes, I see.
She wants to rescue the guard. Feels it is imperative. And it's her need, her desire, her only reason for being here. We don't care about the guard. We care about doing what Zalmo hired us to do. We will get you out.
Ah. So you do not exhibit any signs of honor then? Not even among your friends?
That's not how we see it. We didn't make any promises.
Did you not just say that you were here to help? In your friend's effort?
I never made any promises. In that regard.
I see. So Lila then is the one that makes those promises.
Yes. And she's not hearing us right now.
Well, I will say that if absolutely necessary, I perhaps could orchestrate a way for your friend.
The little one.
Yes.
To find her friend. You could get her in and out.
Other than getting carted off with a club to the head by the guards and thrown in one of their cells, you must get on a work detail. Now, I happen to know the man that runs the lists involved with the work detail. Perhaps I can grease the wheels of bumping some names. But in order for that to happen, there must be an opening on said detail.
And how do we go about creating this opening? Can you give us a name to bump?
So he will kind of just flick a finger over to the table that Rumpke was speaking to of the Trinity members. Those thief over there, they are on the excavation work detail. One of many crews. If they were not to make their shift today, which he looks at a non-existent watch on his wrist, is coming up quite quickly, well then, those names would get bumped. They would lose their privilege.
She's listening again. We can convince the stout one. Just pick a fight with that table over there. Get them all bumped off the list. Create that opening.
Then I will do my part.
It has been a pleasure meeting you.
and you. The both of you.
She'll nod to Zev. Kylie will wiggle her fingers at both of them, and we'll walk back to the table. Jewel, listen, we gotta wait for you to maybe see if Happy is there in solitary. Delta, all you have to do is go pick a fight with those guys over there.
Oh, this Trinity guys?
Yeah,
And they're gonna throw me in solitary.
that's all right. You do that. You do that for Opal. And then Opal can get put on the work detail.
What? I already work enough at home, and I miss
Opal,
home.
do you want to see if Happy is there or not? This is a one-time thing that must be done now.
Fine. Also, shh! You called me Opal really loud.
Delta, go pick a fight.
So you want me to go over there, fight that guy, get thrown in solitary, so she can get on the work detail, so she can maybe get into the solitary to be able to get me and Happy, if he's even in there, out?
Benita will get her put on the work detail. She will be able to see if Happy is there or not.
Oh, he's got some pull.
You know, I've been in solitary before. I can handle this.
Halkruk stands up and starts walking over to the other table.
You approach the table full of Trinity members, which does include Jex and 4 others. As you do, like, you and, of course, the rest of the party kind of, I don't know how nonchalant you all are being watching Halkruk march over there, but you all see that, like, Benito and Zev, they've risen from their table, and they seem to be making their way towards the cafeteria area and, like, down into, like, another adjacent room, basically. And Jex looks to you, Halkruk, as you step up to the table.
I saw you all looking at me when I was standing over there with Johnny. You got a problem?
I think you mean Jimmy.
I think I know what I mean.
Hey, there's no problem here. We can certainly make one. Jex remains seated. He doesn't seem to be threatened at all. He's not gotten to his feet or anything. But he does kind of flick a hand at a red dragonborn that's sitting, one of the other Trinity members sitting with him. And the dragonborn gets to his feet, and he just seemed like walking away from the table.
I think maybe I do want a problem.
Jex kind of smiles and, like, drops his utensil, puts both hands on the table, and, like, slowly gets to his feet. And he towers over you, Halkruk. I mean, you're not a short person, a short half-orc, but you're not, 6.5 feet tall.
What is he human? Is he?
He is a human. Yeah, he looks just abnormally large for a human.
Halkruk sort of does a big tusk-filled grin as he looks up at this guy who stood up and is now towering above him.
I've always liked the sound of big lads falling to the ground. This is gonna be fun.
Jex smiles back at you, opens up his hands as if to invite whatever you have in store for him.
Do we roll initiative? How does this work?
If you're gonna lead with the punch, you can go ahead and roll an attack, and I'll basically give you first action.
16.
Yeah, I mean, he's in prison glows, his AC's 10, right? So he's kind of easy to hit.
4 bludgeoning damage. Then I'll swing around with my second attack. Got the right first, he's getting the left now. That is a 12.
That hits.
That is much better. Max damage, which is 11. 11 in bludgeoning damage. And I will flurry of blows as well. So I kind of leap toward him, leading with my right. And then kind of let the momentum carry through and skid to a stop on his left and swing around after I've connected with my right hand to hit the other side of his face with my left. And then I go in for the 1, 2, 3 with an uppercut. And that is it's over 20. 22 to hit for max damage again. 11 bludgeoning damage.
Wow. Your first punch, almost like a glancing blow. Your second one hits way harder, and he's clearly, you stun him. Your follow-up on your third, you smack him just as hard for the third time, and he drops to his knees. Like, he almost like stumbles back over the bench, the stone chair of the table. He goes down, and he's like sprawled out on his back. It looks like he's seeing Tweety birds around his head.
Hellcrook kind of chuckles again.
Oh, come on. Is that all you got?
As you're gloating, you feel a crack into the back of your knee, and you'll take 4 bludgeoning as you see a guard has come up behind you. He's got the red Dragonborn Trinity member standing like next to him, kind of just like behind him. And this guard cracks you into the knee, trying to drive you down to your knee. We'll come around for another swing, doing another 6 bludgeoning. That's enough, newbie. What's going on here?
This big buffoon insulted me. Said he was gonna beat the crap out of me. Clearly, he didn't have what it takes to back that up.
From where I was standing, these inmates were just trying to have some breakfast. Hands on the table.
Hellcrook obliges.
And the guard starts to search you, basically. So he's patting you up from the shoulders, down your arms, across your abdomen, to your waistband. Weapon! And he cracks you again, this time over the head. Another 7 bludgeoning. And like immediately, the dozen or so guards on the ground floor, they swarm onto you, Hellcrook. The rest of these Trinity members, including Jax, is like getting to his feet, right, still clearly dazed. The Dragonborn is backed off, but Hellcrook, you are swarmed. You take another few glancing blows from the group of guards, and the rest of the party, you see Hellcrook is restrained by this group of guards, roughed up some more, and he's being dragged out of the common area and presumably to solitary confinement.
Yeah, I love it when a plan comes together.
We probably should have taken his shiv.
Yeah, I got him in solitary for sure.
Oh, yeah, okay. But now we're down to shiv.
Would have been nice if you could taken out another before he had gone.
Jimmy No Shoes comes running up to your table. Holy cripes, did you guys see that? What was Axel thinking?
What are you thinking coming back here?
Whoa, be nice.
I mean, hell, I don't know what Axel was thinking. Like, they knew he had the weapon. It makes no sense.
What?
Yeah, I know, Jimmy. Why are you standing here talking to us?
Well, because you keep talking back. I mean,
Why don't you turn your little no shoes around and walk the other direction?
fine. If you don't want help from Jimmy No Shoes, that's... Surely somebody will. And you'll walk away yet again.
I'm kind of worried about Hellcrook, though. That was a hard hit.
I'm sure he'll be fine. He's quite resilient.
I'm just afraid of his thinker up there, Solitary's a scary place, and he might trigger some bad memories.
If we do our part correctly, he won't be there very long.
Okay, so... when can I start working?
Well, we gotta wait till Benito there gets you on the work detail. Hopefully he took that guy out enough, that Jax guy, so there's an opening.
So after Hellcrook was taken away, kind of in that stilled hush, right, where we were having this conversation of the second interruption now to breakfast. Like the one of the remaining guards here that stuck around after Hellcrook got carted off, he kind of uses that little lull, right, as everyone's kind of like almost like holding their breath when these events kind of start to happen, right? They're not quite sure like what else might break out as a result of that kind of thing. He kind of uses the silence to like, and he shouts over out of the room, like to announce that the work detail crews are to report to the commissary in 20 minutes.
Can I see Owen?
Yeah, you see him still up on the kind of upper balcony mezzanine area.
Can I catch his attention without being obvious about it?
You can attempt to. What do you want to try to do? You was trying to like wave, or like in what way?
I just want to look at him and see if I can catch his eye. See if he sees me seeing him.
Okay. You can like watch him and hopefully he scans across your table, right? In the
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to wave to him because that would be too obvious. So I just want to see if he's looking at me. And then I will try. If he does look at me, I will nod my head towards where Benito had been sitting. and give a slight nod up and down, and then like a shake of the head saying, like, not yet. So, like, a yes, but not yet. Which would be, obviously, he will pick that up so
signals.
clearly.
He's going to know exactly what you're saying.
Yes.
Act like I'm not looking at these people. Oh, she's waving. I know. Yeah.
All right, why don't you roll me a percentile? If you get over 50%, you catch Ned Bullseye.
92.
All right, you kind of keep your eye on him, and then in a minute or two, he clearly starts to like kind of scan the room, as many of the guards are doing, and he certainly knows who you are, and he's going to be fairly purposeful as trying to keep an eye on the lot of you, right? And yes, you can give your yes but no, and you can roll me an insight check. Actually, you know what? I'm going to have Olin roll an insight check to see if he understands what the hell you're trying to signal to him. Why don't you roll me a performance for your little glance, your glance performative communication here.
17.
So you, with your insight into Ned Bull's insight, you're not sure if he understood the signals you were giving. And it looks like Jax and the rest of his crew have positioned themselves right back at the table. Looks like they're finishing up their own breakfast. And as some other inmates you see there, they've, despite having the 20-minute call, like they're getting to their feet, and they look like they're moving towards like where the cafeteria is, and like in the same direction into that little extra room where Benito and Zev had walked off to.
Jax is going to.
Correct. Yeah.
Is this something like I would know? Typically, you have breakfast and then you go to like a yard or something. People play games, or what is a typical day? Is just not sitting at the table waiting for each meal. What does a prisoner do?
This is the yard. You can certainly look around and try to see if there's other type of rooms or around, right? You've only been escorted, or you've walked basically from your cell directly here. But obviously there's no like outside area because of the way that Storm's End is and built right into the stone. There's really no other place you would go. So any areas other than other inmates' cells, you can presume are like considered to be common areas. So if you wanted to explore the space, maybe figure out some of these other corridors that branch off and see where they lead, absolutely you can.
Hey, why don't we take a look around, see where all the doors are and stuff, and figure out what our path is going to be if we ever need to escape.
Did you notice, though, that Hellcroak is going to solitaire for no reason? Jax is still going to his work detail.
Yeah, well,
Dang it.
it's worth a try.
I have to do something back in the cell. You guys explore. I'll see you later.
Sure. All right. But let's go see where Benito went. Just and check out around the area.
After you?
I get up, sort of walk around. I sort of give a little bit of a strut as I'm walking. Sort of a bit intimidating, but not really catching anybody's eye. And walk over to the other room.
The one that many of the inmates are funneling to?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Will we be walking past Jax as we do this?
You actually see as you get up, their crew seems to get up as well. So you're kind of moving almost like in tandem with them. And actually, so Opal, you have gone off to the cell then, right? So now it's just Kaelia, Seychadal, and Rumkey.
I have left.
All right, sorry, just Lila and Delta. So Lila and Delta, you actually overhear one of Jax's crew. Like, Jax looks like he was wobbly at first, right? But he's like regained his composure. Clearly like a big welt and like black ire forming from the damage Hellcroak did. But he's still up on his feet. He's still moving around. He still looks like he's, coherent. So definitely not going to. He'll still be reporting for the work detail by all accounts. But you certainly overhear one of the women with him. She basically says, "Yeah, I'll meet you up in the commissary. I just got to hit the head, basically." So one of them kind of splits off down an adjacent corridor, basically to the one everyone is funneling to. So it's kind of like these two hallways that are almost branch off of each other, basically. And when you get into this other little room, like, there's a collection of inmates that are gathered inside and a number of other prisoners kind of on the outside of the threshold, basically.
Before we get in, I want to do something.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
So as we're all getting up and we're starting to walk towards the room, I can telekinetically shove without using verbal or semantic components. And I can make my spectral hand invisible. So I want to just kind of shove somebody else into Jax and try and make them both tumble as like forward momentum.
How much poundage can your spectral hand move?
Can't carry more than 10 pounds. But I can try and shove one creature.
What you can do is, you know how when people are walking in front of you and you kick their foot as they're about to swing it forward and then it trips them?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, Bill. Like I knock somebody else into Jax. Like somebody smaller and lighter, but enough force to knock him over since he's already a little maybe lightheaded.
Using your mage hand as the first domino in a domino effect?
Yes.
All right. Roll me a...
It says the target must succeed on a strength save.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Thank you. What's the DC? Because they got a 13.
See, 11 plus the ability modifier of the score increased by this feat. So that would be 13.
Okay. So then they tide goes to them, so they save. So you do see like they nearly stumble, like they misstep as they do, and then they like almost like catch themselves like inches away from Jax. They're like falling into his back, right? And then you see them kind of like straighten up and hold back a little bit to put a little distance between them and Jax. Very close.
Damn it.
So as you reach the threshold of the commissary, you see that Jax's crew, minus the woman that split off to them, they just kind of walk right in and join the other collection of inmates inside. You can see this in the small room off of this main common area. It serves basically as like a storage area. It's clearly there's 3 or 4 cells that have been retrofitted and kind of had the, in between the adjacent bars between them removed to create one larger barred off area. And mostly, like, you see there's extra food stuff kept in here. Like, obviously, clearly, like, more gourmet, and obviously there's a ceiling to the word gourmet, how it's being used here, but far better, like, snacks and stuff that you could buy with your commissary account, right? In addition to, like, items like playing cards and dice sets and extra toiletries and anything you would think that, would be stocked in the commissary for the inmates to spend their earned money or whatever, wherever the money may come from, into their commissary account. And you do see there's an older looking guard inside. He's stationed in there. He's kind of sitting on a stool just outside of this closed off supply area. That small crowd, again, it's kind of gathered outside of this room. It's clearly like the inmates that have crossed the threshold are like on the work detail, right? And they're basically reporting to where they're supposed to report to. And you can see like a few of the outside gatherers where the two of you are. I don't know if you also want to cross the threshold. There's nothing stopping you from doing so. But a few of those the crowd that you're intermingling with, like the ones right at the opening to this room, they're like silently like counting off the members of the work detail to themselves, like as if, oh, okay, I wonder if someone's not going to show up, kind of thing, or if there's somebody missing.
How far away is Jax got people behind him, or are we right behind him? Where are we in relationship to him?
So they're in the commissary now. They're in the commissary room. They're in a cluster of like another 20 or so other inmates, basically again waiting to get their assignment, essentially. So you're kind of on the very threshold or in the back of a crowd looking into the threshold of that commissary room.
Hey Lila. I could go up and make sure he doesn't get on his work detail, but they're probably going to throw me in the clink. More than likely, they're going to pull me out, put me in some kind of fight. They got something over me. So, I guess I'll see you later. I'm going to walk through the crowd. Can I push people out of the way? Like I'm on a mission. I see the guy. I want to take him out. I walk through the people, push him side to side, jump up, and just punch him in the head.
You might not want to, oh. Okay.
Ruthless.
Alright, 26. That is a crit.
Okay.
Alright, so that's going to be 11 plus 8. 19.
On top of the 26 that Hellcruck did to him.
Not trying to kill him.
No, you just you finish Jex up, cold cock him. He is out like a light. And again, before anyone can react, you just march right up to him. Boom, he's down. The rest of his crew immediately jump on you, and they're all going to try to land blows on you too, Rumkey.
How come they didn't attack Hellcruck?
Because they knew you had a weapon.
It wasn't a threat.
Oh, I see how it is.
So you're going to take about 3 punches here, so they're only going to add their strength. 1 plus their strength, right? So you're going to take a total of 7 bludgeoning. Before, again, the older guard, he gets up from his stool like right away. It looks like he's pained moving as quickly as he does. And he's shouting for more guards to come in. The crowd, and Kylie, you're like bumped, and the rest of the crowd is bumped as the remaining guards swarm in. More cracks everywhere. Everyone's getting hit. Everyone fighting. The rest of these Trinity members fighting Rumkey. Everyone's getting a clud, a bludgeon. Rumkey, you take 2 more clubs, 12 more bludgeoning damage combined. The squall is quickly contained. Like the rest of the work details, it's like the way they react to this is immediately nobody but Jex's crew wants anything to do with what is going on right now. They all immediately back off in this commissary area. The crowds outside, people start cheering for more people in the work detail to go down. Like they're egging Rumkey on, but quickly things are quelled. Rumkey, you're pulled, you're dragged out along with these other Trinity members. Jex again is like being picked up by 2 of the guards. He's completely unconscious. Oln is actually one of the ones that has responded, and he comes up to those that are dragging you, Rumkey, and he kind of stops them. Hey, Huel ain't gonna want this one in solitary. Let me take him back to his cell. I'll lock him in for the day. As soon as like Oln mentions Officer Huel, they like, okay, and they slump you into Oln, basically, Oln's arms. He kind of picks you up and gets you on your feet. But he has his club drawn. He kind of prods you in the back. Let's go. Get a move on.
All right, whatever. Yeah, just watch your mouth next time, man, Jax. And I turn around and sort of huff back like I'm pissed. Go back to the cell.
As the rest of the 3 other Trinity members that jumped on you, Rumkey, they're being taken off clearly same direction that Hellcruck was dragged off to solitary. Jex's unconscious body is being taken out as well, and the last member, the woman of their crew, comes back from the latrine and she's like looking around. She's clearly like, super confused, and then she just continues into the commissary and like joins the rest of the work detail.
As I'm walking by, I look over at Leia with a big smile on my face. See? Works every time.
This whole time, in kind of off into a corner of this commissary, Benito and Zev have been standing, leaning against the wall, and kind of watching this happen. Kylea, you can now, as the crowd was like quickly dispersed and parted from the guards, you can kind of like maybe slink your way in a little closer to the opening, and you can definitely you've like seen each other basically and acknowledge each other's presence. But this guard kind of goes back over to his stool. He picks up a big roll of paper that he had sitting next to him, and he begins to open it and unfurl it, and he is like reading off basically prisoner numbers. And as he's doing so, you see the inmates that have gathered for the work detail. They raise up their arms, and he'll throw like a different colored vest to them. First, he starts throwing off green vests, and then he kind of works down this list, starts throwing brown vests to people, and then down to finally the last color he has are gray vests. And now, Kylea, now you're kind of seeing these vests. You can put together that like the people that were serving you breakfast and food, like as you very distractedly really kind of went through that line, they were actually wearing white vests. So there's still clearly four different types of details that have been, work details that have been split out amongst some of these inmates. As Officer Rich is reading out, he gets to a number 67565213, And nobody puts up their hand. Kind of like as if he's ticking something. He reads out 4 total numbers that don't respond, very clearly belonging to Jex and the 3 other members of his crew that got carted off. There is, of course, the 5th number he reads off for this, and the last one is the woman that kind of went to the latrine. She gets thrown a gray vest. So Rich just kind of like shakes his head and keeps scrolling down this list. And you see he just kind of drops the bottom of it, and it just like falls down and rolls off another 10 feet like away from him. Like, it is a long list. Well, let's see who's at the top of the list again. And then he reads out 899-65425. Where are they? And he waits.
She's in her cell. We can go get her.
Well, she's not here. Moves on to another number. And Benito, again having spotted you, kind of takes a light step up to Rich as he's reading off a second number. And then you see Benito just kind of leans in and whispers something to Rich very quickly.
Y'all, it looked like I wasn't gonna be able to join.
Rich kind of nods, and then he moves on. 899-65426. Where are you?
That would be us, darling. And I'll walk up to him.
Join the others, and he throws you a gray vest, and then he fills the other 3 spots with people waiting at the threshold. Right, clear again. People on this work detail list. I think Benito had mentioned that one of the few, or someone had mentioned one of the few ways to earn money in the prison is via the work details. Right, so obviously very coveted positions, which you could glean is also why other than Jex's crew already assembled to get their detail didn't want to do anything to jeopardize losing that detail when Rumkey had started more stuff with Jex. Opal, what are you doing in your cell? So you've gone off and you've made it back to the cell. What are you doing here?
Well, it didn't look like I was going to be able to join the work detail. So I was thinking, okay, I don't have any of my usual stuff, but I could still cast spells if I find the right ingredients. So I was going to go back to my cell, but also look around that way. Is any of the furniture made of wood?
No, everything in here is stone.
Everything. Did I see wood somewhere else?
You have, to date, only seen stone and metal.
I'm specifically looking for an eyelash in gum Arabic, or aka an eyelash trapped in resin, from what I'm Googling. I could then cast
What?
2 in... Listen, I had to Google what it was, but it's gum Arabic, like it's in foods and things, but it's like resin. It's kind of like a jelly thing, and then like an eyelash stuck in it, I can cast the spell invisibility twice in one long rest. So I was kind of just trying to prep for like getting them out of there, but then I freaking missed my chance.
Okay, here's what I will tell you, Opal. Knowing the type of specific component you were looking for, you can definitely have like scooped up a bit of the oatmeal-like substance of breakfast to take back to your cell to let congeal and like
pull my
solidify.
eyelashes
Yeah, you
out
can
and-
like put your own eyelash into this and try to hope that this component works.
This
for
is like
this
an old
spell.
wives' tale or something I've heard from Amethyst, because this is I leveled up and it's a new spell I could prepare, and I'm just sort of like, oh, I remembered, one time Aunt Amethyst was talking about how she got herself out of a bind, and turned invisible. So that's what I'm
Find
trying
a
to
3D printer room that they have down here, and you can get some resin.
do. Yeah, exactly. There's no canoes, no canoe crafting.
No.
Work.
Everybody's printing shivs.
Well, here at Storm's End, they recycle ships, so you can be sure that the one that Hellcruck was confiscated will go back into circulation, because nothing gets wasted here in Storm's End.
Good, they recycle us.
But yeah, the time I try to be proactive and prepare, and I think I have an idea, the world has other plans. So,
Okay, here's what I'll say. You will have been able to easily collect enough of the breakfast food to have been gone back to your cell to even like experiment with it working. So if you wanted to try to cast it alone in your cell, while this is happening at the commissary. You can try, or if you want to kind of wait for the moment and maybe not try to burn the resource, you can do that as well. What do you want?
I probably would try once, thinking that I have a long rest again till the escape.
Okay.
Okay, maybe even the twice. Like, it's just, yeah, I don't know. I got two second level spell slots.
All right, and you definitely have enough components to cast it twice right now. I will give you a 90% chance that your MacGyvered material component will work. So go ahead and roll me a percentile to see if the spell clicks. Under 90 and it works.
62.
And sorry, you're casting invisibility.
I guess on myself then, because that's the only way I know it worked. So.
And boom, you try to look at your hands and you see nothing.
I end up just staying in the cell because I'm too afraid that I'd be found out if I wandered around and then get put in solitary. So I want to be able to tell the others of my plan, and yeah.
Opal, from the cell, you hear the sound of a pair of footsteps coming down the corridor, the tunnel that your cell is kind of situated at the end of.
I wait to see who's coming.
And very quickly, you see Oln and Rumkey come into view. Oln appears to be escorting Rumkey back to your cell.
Hey, went down pretty easy, huh, old? If you crack them right in the back of the skull, they go down real quick.
What the hell was all that about?
Hey, we had to get an opening for the work detail. Got to take somebody out to do that.
You're getting yourself. Look. I'm not gonna lock you in, but you're confined for the cell. Okay, if you're out wandering about, any other gods see you around, they're gonna get. Oh!
What the? Jeez.
Hi.
And I dismiss invisibility. I'm like right up next to them.
I just sort of stare at you.
Anybody catch you doing that in here, Miss Jewel? Then it's
Catch me
not even
doing
I can
what?
keep you out of solitaire. No, don't be practicing no magic here where anybody can see.
I didn't even know you could do that.
Well, so I was really studying before we came into the jail, but anyway, without my alchemy supplies, I had to take the porridge and the gunk and make a little resin, and then I found some eyelashes and anyways.
I look over at Olin and sort of hold my hands up and go, I don't know what the hell she's talking about. All right, I'll stay in my cell.
Can I leave the cell?
Yeah. Jewel, you're fine to go wherever you want in the common areas. Hey, so you look, what's going on? Lila was giving me some weird looks in there. I didn't quite pick up what she was laying down, you know?
Yeah, I think she was trying to give you the heads up here, because, now Jules going to go back, get on the work detail. Once we get down there, bada bing, bada boom, we're going to be out of here drinking a beer at the bashing class by tomorrow night. You better get your key ready.
Yeah, maybe I'll go hang out in case they need a new worker, which is totally a coincidence, right?
Yeah, coincidence, you could say. Yeah.
I need to go find Lila.
All right, so I ain't leaving the key tonight. Tomorrow is what you're saying.
Yeah, probably tomorrow. We got a few more things to work out, but we're getting close. This is easy.
Yeah, I've actually stayed in inns that are worse than this, so...
Wow, you've stayed in some pretty shit places. Okay, look.
The food was better.
Well, yeah. I've taken your cell, like I say. Don't let any gods see you strutting around there, Delta. And Jewel, you can go up and do whatever you want. If you're gonna try to make the work detail, I'd bust a move on.
Oh, okay.
And I get going.
I lay down, sort of fluff my pillow up, put my arms behind my head, throw my feet up on the bed. I could use some rest anyways.
Hellcruck, you're half dragged and half escorted through Block B. Taken down a left turn, then a right turn, moving past two more right turns to finally take a third ahead of you. Ultimately, just to walk a longer stretch of cells before taking a final left, where you quickly find yourselves in front of another solid metal door that's built into the stone. This one, a big letter A painted across it. You're ushered through to the other side and, pushed forward, prodded with this club that this guard wields. To your immediate right, as you step through, there's another long, curving corridor. Could you give me a perception check, please?
12.
Very, very faintly, echoing from that curved corridor, you hear screams and moans, very clearly in pain. But you're not taken to the right, you're taken to the left into another straightaway. More cells line these hallways, familiar cells to you, of course. Different than the simple metal bars that allow guards to peer into the cells that you would find in blocks B, C, and D. These cells, they have solid doors with 2 sliding openings, one at the very bottom and one at around eye level. You can see their construction is very similar to those that separate each of the cell blocks and separates other areas of the prison. Now, you know to expect many of these cell doors to be obfuscated by this protruding bubble of blackness spilling kind of past the door and into about a foot into the corridor. You also know that denotes a cell as being occupied. And you know what to expect when your guard escort opens an unoccupied cell, pushing you hard into this 10 by 10 stone room with nothing but a bucket in one corner. As you get to your feet, the guard slams the door shut, the lock engages, and you're plunged into magical darkness. Again, you've been in solitary before. This is nothing new to you, as a number of races have limited to no problem seeing in the dark. Standard practice here to put you into an isolated area is to simply cast you into complete pitch blackness that generally the very vast majority of people cannot see in.
And I cannot as well. So I kind of feel for the wall to my left, reach out, touch it with my left hand, and then sort of with my right, feel around and put my back to it and slide down, sitting on the floor against the wall. Kind of settle in for however long it takes for me to be in here.
You also know that generally you'll be thrown in here for 24 hours.
I mean, I beat him up pretty good.
Well, maybe that'll be extended. Kylea, after you've been thrown your vest, 3 guards accompany you and the rest of the inmates that are gathered for the work details. And as they escort your group out of the commissary and through the common area, those waiting to hopefully get called, right, for any missing work detail members, they've quickly dispersed once all the positions have been filled. One of these guards puts their hand up. Laundry duty, me. And you see those that were given a green vest. They follow this guard down a stretch of corridor. A second guard raises their hand. Latrine, here. And those in the brown vests, they split off with this guard towards kind of a section of like the nearest cells you can see peeking down one of these hallways. And the last guard takes those who are left. Looks like there's 15 of you, all in gray vests, for the excavation duty. And you're split into basically 3 groups of 5, like 3 crews of 5 members, basically. The only person you recognize, Kylea, from your group is the other member of Jex's crew, right? The woman that had went off to the washroom, basically, and missed how everything kind of went down. So obviously you wouldn't know this, Kylea, but like the excavation crew is taking basically the same route that Hellcruck and the rest of the inmates being thrown into solitary were taken through cell block A, as it is the closest access point to solitary confinement. And again, you maybe you would have a more kind of a rough understanding of that, again, based on the very expertly and clearly creatively talented drawn map that Oln handed you. So you're taken, again, down the first right. Once you've crossed the big metal door that has the A on it, the same door that Hellcruck was ushered through minutes ago. And you take the right. You don't take the left that Hellcruck was taken down. And not even 100 feet into this direction, like, you hear the echo of screaming and moans that Hellcruck just barely was able to audibly pick up. And as you're continuing closer, like further down this hallway, this tunnel, they periodically like pause for a number of seconds, sometimes as long as 2 or 3 minutes before starting again. Now, this curved corridor eventually hit a point where it splits off to your left. The group continues straight, though. But as you pass this kind of junction, you're struck by a very strong, pleasant smell, like a sweet smell that cuts over the stagnant, I guess maybe you're probably already smell blind to it, but that ripe stagnant air of Storm's End with very little space capacity for air circulation down here in these tunnels. But those cries grow louder and louder as you come to another junction. And as you're proceeding down, like the rest of the inmates here, other than the newbies that were added to the detail with you, the rest of the call them old hat work detailers for sure, right? The people that have probably been on this detail numerous times, right, and visiting this cell block. They seem like slightly perturbed by the screams, but as if they expected to hear them. Now those other three people with you, right, the newbies, they're like looking around, they're like nobody's mentioning or even acknowledging them except these other people, right? Clearly new to them, and I don't know how you're reacting to hearing these sounds.
I would say we're not visibly reacting to it, but we are curious as to what's causing it. And assuming it's some kind of torture, but not gonna say anything.
And again, they are getting louder. You are clearly moving closer towards the source. And so another junction is another turn, basically. Again, you're not taking down it, you're essentially crossing it. You can catch a passing glance across the threshold of what looks like a grisly space, a grisly scene. There's dried pools of blood. They coat the stone floor like as if they pooled into the unlevel areas of the carved, right, as the room that was carved out. So there's patches of dried blood mixing with fresh. On either side, on the left and the right of this room, you see a row of stone chairs. So like two separate rows, right? They almost like they face each other. Each of them looks like they're separated by a hanging blood-stained like white cloth, like drapery. A slumped figure occupies each of the chairs. Their ankles look like they're secured by like manacles and a short length of chain, like attached to say like the right ankle, and then the chain is run through a carved channel in the stone floor itself, and then attached to the left ankle. So the manacle itself, even if it was, it looks like even if it was unmanacled, like the mechanism of the lock that goes around a wrist or the ankle wouldn't fit through the channel in the stone. The figures on the right side of the room, your right, obviously, respective to you looking into it, they are all sporting red-stained bandages across their bodies and across limbs. You recognize one of them from being from the group that was subdued and caused the fight amongst themselves before Hellcrux incident and before Rumpke's incident, right? That were already sweating and itching and cut up. The ones on the left, however, they seem unharmed physically. They just sit there, staring forward, unfocused. And now Kylea, having again being familiar with the effects and the look of somebody on stupor, that's immediately what you recognize these people as being on some type of drug akin or specifically being on stupor. The clear source of the cries come from the very end of this room, positioned between two more corridors that continue like deeper and past this room. There's a length of white, of some similar like white stained cloth, and you see like they're hanging from the ceiling right on like this track, so you can pull them like curtains kind of thing. And this has been pulled closed, so you can't see past it, but a light source from behind it casts shadows onto this stained drapery. And judging by the shape of the shadow, you can see a figure is hunched over another body, somebody stretched out on a table.
So mad scientist thing going on here.
Seemingly so, yes. Again, you're getting a fleeting glimpse here, but you're looking into and still very, very perceptive, even with your passive perception. His sunken cheekbones and wasted form, they nearly leave him unrecognizable. But you clearly identify Constable Happy Lilton chained to the floor in the left-hand row. Blank, unblinking stare, glazed over, lifeless, save for the shallow rise and fall of his chest, of his breathing. And then your group is ushered past this little carnal house, and as you do, the painful cries, they subside again. Again, silent for another minute, 2 minutes of your group walking away now. They then begin again. Again, you've heard this happen like 5, 6, 7 different times as you've been walking down hundreds of feet of corridor, right? When they begin again, like the strangled cry, it chokes out, changing. It becomes less painful, then slowly transitions to chuckling, then outright laughter and contented sighs.
Well, how about that for an episode? You want more? I'm sure you do. I'm just the guy to tell you where to find it. Just type in incorrigibleparty.com in your favorite interweb searcher thingy, and bam, there you go. What's that? You want even more stuff to know about the world? Well, you can do that at World Anvil. Just go over to worldanvil.com/w/center-Leland Steel. And there's all kinds of stuff there. All you gotta do is get a free account. I bet you were wondering about the great tunes that were filling your ear holes while you were listening. Well, that was tabletop audio and Sarastro music. Great stuff. You want to make us feel good? Then join our Discord. Talk about all kinds of stuff there. Sometimes even the podcast. You got some spare change there burning a hole in your pocket? Well, then join our Patreon at patreon.com/incorrigibleparty. Head over there and see what kind of perks you get. But most of all, tell your friends. Tell the mailman. Tell that guy you met at the gym last week. Tell him how you went into your app thingy and gave us a 5-star review. Then more people can find us and enjoy the show too. Okay, now that I'm done being a shill, there's only one more thing to say. And that's happy adventuring.
This has been a Sounds of Steel production.